Who's ready for some night golf? Who is ready for some night golf? I am, because you know what? Tonight's the one. This is the one tournament where I don't have to worry about somebody WDing 10 minutes before lock and me missing it, because I don't wake up at 6 in the morning and check my lineups unless it's like a super big week where I have way too much money invested. But tonight I can promise you, if anybody WDs last minute, the big guy will be in there making adjustments. What's up, new guy? I'm the Degenerate 75. I'm a high-limit DFS player. If you're watching this at noon on a Wednesday for the ZOZO Championship in the middle of October, first of all, God bless your soul. God bless your soul. I like the cut of your jib. But in case you don't know, we do this every Wednesday. Normally we do it at 7 p.m. Lord's time zone, but if we did it at 7 p.m. Lord's time zone tonight, it'd be pretty fucking useless. So we're moving it to noon today. So I hope this still helps you. I hope I can still provide you all of the tough questions that I always do. We do this every Wednesday, so start coming, you motherfather. Don't forget to check out the Showdown Hoedown, the flagship of my station, where we break down the Showdown slate. All right. We're going to go quick tonight. We're going to go quick. I got to ask you, new guy, one quick question. This is what we always start with, brother. You ready? You ready? Have you made your lineups yet? Have you? You've made them, haven't you? You got a little nervous because of the early tee time, and now you've already made your lineups. That's a donkey dick thing to do. Cut it out, new guy. You're better than that. You're better than that. All right, so let's get going here. Hey, contest selection. They suck. I mean, they're better than they were last week. I mean, just this extra $25,000 they tossed on the big, the Drive the Green, the big $5 makes it so much better. But it's still not good, right? I wish they would bump this up to $150. They probably just got a little nervous that it wasn't going to fill. You can see that it only, it still has 10,000 open spots in it. But I'm telling you, those last 2 hours, everybody's going to be getting off work. It'll be prime time when everybody's on DraftKings. You're going to be talking 2,000 or 3,000 entrants per hour filling. There's just no chance that this thing will overlay. I don't see any of them overlaying. Even more than that, I think they'll all fill on top of that. So not only are you not going to get an overlay, they're all going to fill. So if you want to get in there, you get in there now. If you're like, oh, I'm going to hold out for an overlay. Sorry, bro. It ain't happening. It ain't happening, brother. So, I mean, maybe in the big $1,500, but let's face it, you ain't playing in the $1,500. So what are some good contests to play in today? Well, you can't ever go wrong with the $200 single entry. If that's a little too rich for your blood, I really just implore you to stay away from the big $20 with 1/3 of the money going to first. Get the fuck out of here. Which, by the way, fuck counter is coming to the emergency stream. It ain't up yet because we're doing a weird day stream, right? Which, by the way, 50 people in here. 50 people in here watching during lunch. You're saints, every one of you. If we get to 100 people in here, I'm going to double the amount of giveaways that we're doing, right? Because, I already skipped. Yeah, we're doing a big giveaway at the end, new guy. All you have to do is like and retweet, and you're on there, and you get to make a $20 lineup with me tonight. I totally buried the lead with that, right? I was so anxious to get going, but I'm saving that to the end. I can't have you leaving on me, you motherfather. Okay, other tournaments, you can never go wrong with the $12 single entry, the $33. These are good tournaments, but you're just going to have to temper your expectations this week, right? You're not going to win $100,000. You're not going to win life-changing money this week unless you go play in one of these stupid tournaments, and then you're just burning through your bankroll, and this isn't the time of year to be burning through your bankroll. So what I would advise you is this is a no-cut event. And in a no-cut event, the edge is super, super slim, right? I mean, when good players get 4 rounds, they're going to get there most of the time. And so I'm going to play dramatically less week-long money this week, and I'm going to shift some more money to Showdown. And I think people are going to be very reluctant to get into Showdown this week simply because there's not going to be any in-tournament stats. There's no shot tracker here in Japan. Apparently, they don't have technology in Japan, which isn't what I think of when I think of Japan. But there's no shot tracker, right? I guess they couldn't get the volunteers. They're like, how the hell does this thing work? So because of that, people are not going to have stats to trust when it comes to Showdown. I think that makes an even bigger edge because I'll just play straight game theory and probably kill it at Showdown. So I'm diverting some of my funds over to that. No, a lot of my funds over to that. So there's your contest selection. That's what I'm doing. I consider getting in this $5, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm just paying the rake because I don't think there's a huge edge at no-cut events. That's my opinion. There you go. You don't have to agree with it, you motherfather. You go toss 150 there and you won. I play my own game. There's a lot of ways to be successful at okay, I rephrase that. There's multiple ways to be successful at DFS. The only way I know is mine. That's the only way I know. And mine is good contest selection, good bankroll management, and spiking the nuts through playing game theory. That's basically like the 3 holy pillars of my strategy, right? There's probably other ones. I see some other guys on the Twitters winning lots of money, so clearly their method works too. But all I know is mine, brother. Hey, here's my schedule. every week. Come check it out. Look at that. Look at that big-ass schedule. Did you know I do NFL? Did you know I do college football? My college football is fucking print money because there is no good content out for that, and no one does the research. NFL is super sharp, so it's just more fun and game theory. Do a lot of content with John Galt, JD. Come check it out. We got Thursday, got the Showdown Hoedown coming out tomorrow for Thursday Night Football. All right. New guy, chance to redeem yourself, big guy. I'm in a good mood today. It's because I don't have the ranch water, and it makes me get aggressive. Today I've got the cold brew because it's early. The big guy's got to wake up. He's got to wake up. What's the first thing we check, new guy? You already saw it, didn't you? You did, you cheater. I like it. You're using all your tools available. I like it. First thing we always check is weather. If you don't know, this is being played in Shiba, Japan. And that is just east of Tokyo. Why am I saying that? You don't even fucking know where Tokyo is at. I guarantee I give you a blank map of the world, and I'm going to bet that maybe 10% of you could identify Japan on it. And that's only because it's an island, okay? I don't mean to shit on you, but most of you are Americans, and Americans aren't noted for their geography skills, okay? So here we go. What do we need to know? Well, first of all, you got to know that they don't even let you see the super forecast. I guess in Japan, they say, fuck your super forecast. You get, ba-ding, fuck count. Oh, ba-ding, again. Look at that. People are making money on the fuck counter. Ba-ding. And so all we get is a general one, right? Every 3 hours. And it actually looks like it's going to be decent winds. Gusting over 20. That ain't nothing. Same thing Friday. But what I really am taking away from this, and you have to go over to the Weather Channel, which a wise old Japanese man once told me, he heard they do weather, is look at this rain, man. I mean, we're talking the whole time they're out there. I think they tee off local time around, 8:30 or 9 over there. So, the whole time they're playing, it's just going to be raining the whole damn day with nice, decent winds the whole time. 10 to 12 miles an hour, I would constitute as moderate winds, right? And it's going to be rainy. And I don't think it's like that good rain where it softens up the course and they're throwing darts. I think it's going to be like that annoying rain that is going to make the course a little bit tougher. I'm thinking this course is going to be pretty tough. First of all, the course, we already have a history of seeing it play difficult, right? It's not, it doesn't beat you with length. It just beats you with being a very difficult course. I mean, that's what it is. And so because of that, and because of the rain, and because of the moderate winds, I think the winning score is going to be very low. I maybe -12, something like that. And so because of that, I'm going to really focus on ball strikers and guys that don't implode. So there's your weather. And you see the same thing Friday. We don't we don't have all the rain, but we still have the steady moderate winds. So that's what I'm taking away. By the way, if you don't know, we're not playing a weather edge this week because there's 78 players. And when there's a 78 player field, they put all the players off on one wave, right? They run them off in threes off of 1 and 10, and then they get everybody out there within a 2-hour period. So to try to discern, the winds are a little bit higher at 9 a.m. versus 11 a.m. Come on, bro. You're getting too cute. All right, don't go chase weather edges. There is none. When it comes to weather this week, which usually is the biggest edge you can find in DFS golf, there's not one because it's a no cut event and it's a smaller field. So because of that, you can't really go chasing weather. Hey, make sure to go toss questions over here in the chat. And while you're at it, go like and sub, new guy. The channel just blew right through 1,600, growing real fast. Hey, by the way, turn on notifications so when I do these weird streams like this at different times, YouTube just lets you know. That's what I would say. All right, let's keep moving here. Hey, if you don't know, new guy, we're tracking. There's this thing called Donkey Chalk. And basically my whole brand is fuck Donkey Chalk. Ba-ding! And so because of that, we're going to track it for a year and see if the Donkey Chalk really gets there as much as we think. And the first week, the Donkey Chalk did not perform. The pivots did a lot better. But then week 2, which was the Sandersons, Donkey Chalk came back. And then week 3, which is the 4th week of this tournament, of this season that we're tracking, the Donkey Chalk smashed. You had Tom Kim winning, you had Neesmith T2, and you had Sung J M 7th. I will say, in my defense, I didn't want to do Donkey Chalk last week. Because there really wasn't that much Donkey Chalk. I kind of had to just pick those guys because they were the highest ones. So because of that, this week, we're not tracking Donkey Chalk because nobody's ownership outside of one guy is really out of line. So I'm not going to pick guys that aren't Donkey Chalk just so we can fucking track it. We're going to wait till we have real tournaments, full fields, where people are, 12% of people are playing Patrick Rogers, okay? And that's donkey chalk. But that's not really existing this week outside of one guy. So we'll keep tracking this. We're taking this week off. I already see they have week 5 updated. Sorry, guys that track this for me. You're saints, but I'm not doing it this week. So let's get to the one thing that keeps people coming back. It's ownership. If you don't know, it's pretty objective. I spend a lot of time on my ownership, and over the past, 11 weeks I've been doing it, I believe 10 out of those 11 weeks, I've had the most accurate ownership because I'm fucking sweaty and I'm sitting here checking it all day and putting out rough drafts and final drafts like it's my fucking dissertation in grad school. Ka-ding! Fuck counter's getting high today. Ka-ding! So, here's what we're looking at for ownership, right? These are the 12 highest owned. Do you want to see all my ownership? Too bad, new guy. It takes a long time to put that together. I saved that for the old Discord motherfathers, right? So here is the ownership, right? No surprise. Who is coming in at the highest owned? Xander Schauffele. Okay, these are rough drafts. They are subject to change, but I think he's going to, this could be the third week in a row where we've seen somebody really start to steam up right there at, leading up to the tournament. It was, who was it last week? Cantlay. I was like, man, his ownership's going to get out of control. Who was it the week before that? Burns. His was a runaway train. Maybe we're going to see the same thing with Xander today. I'll have to look again this afternoon when I put out my final ownership. But right now, I think it's very, very safe to assume Xander's going to be the highest owned guy. First of all, 10,800 is far too fucking cheap for him. Ka-ding! And a no-cut event. Xander is a no-cut monster. There's that narrative out there, but it's actually backed up in facts too. So, and in statistics. So Xander at 10,800 is a tremendous price. He is coming in with good form. He's great in no-cut events. And, he won the gold medal in this country. So I guess he has a track record of performing well in the land of sushi. So Xander is going to be really high. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets to 30%. But, the thing is I kind of thought Xander would be 35 or 40%. If Xander's going to be under 30, yes, that is chalky. But I can't call that donkey chalk, specifically when you look at who are the pivots off of Xander, right? Because to be donkey chalk, there has to be clear pivots. Somebody that's we'll go play this guy instead. And yes, Morikawa will be significantly lower than him. I'm guessing somewhere around the 17, 18% range. But that's a pretty big discount in ownership, 10%. But it's still not to the point that I actually do think Xander is quite a bit more likely to outperform Morikawa. And it's not like it's 2 or 3 times higher Morikawa's ownership. So because of that, I don't know if I'd really classify him as donkey chalk. Maybe chalk. I don't know if I ever want to play a guy at 30%. But at Xander in a no-cut event with his form at 10,800, if there's ever a time I'm going to eat 30% chalk, this would probably be the week to do it, right? Should you do it? I don't know. You do whatever the hell you want, big guy. It's your world. It's your world. Sungjae, same thing, 26% right now, roughly between 25 and 26. Very, very chalky. But here's my question. He's only 10,000. Sungjae is coming in with incredible form. He's back in his neck of the woods because if you don't know, he's from Korea, which is right next to Japan, you ignorant donkey. So, I feel like that's a very fair price for Sungjae M. I feel like that ownership is not too out of line relative to where it is. If you think 25% super high, well, you got to remember that he's $10,000, right? And if we know one rule, there's one rule we always know about roster construction and DraftKings is people are going to spend their effing money. That's what people do. They spend their money. And so it's just natural that Xander and M and Decky, these guys are just naturally going to get ownership, not because they're chalky plays, but just because people simply spin their lineups. They're going to click one of those guys as the first guy in their lineup. So they're going to get natural ownership just from that, right? That's what has to be baked into the pie. Okay, you don't naturally have to go click Mito Pereira into your lineup, right? That is chalk. That would be the only one I would really classify that just jumps out to me as disgusting chalk. What are we doing, people? So there you go. You want one donkey chalk this week? Mito Pereira. I have him coming in at 21%. And when you just go look at everybody else around him, he's legit 2 or 3 times higher than everybody else around him. And I like Mito on short, tough courses. I like Mito when he's ball striking. He checks all those boxes. But to say Mito Pereira is 2 or 3 times more likely than everybody in the low 8Ks, that's what makes him donkey chalk. You're like, but his ownership's lower than Tom Kim's. Yeah, but Tom Kim is 9,700. People are going to want to go spend up to get Tom Kim. You got to spend your money. And so that makes Tom Kim a much more natural fit in lineups. He can be your first or second guy in a lineup. So that's naturally going to draw more ownership to him. But with Mito, you don't have to do that. Mito doesn't have to be in any lineups, right? He's not a build. That's somebody you're forcing in there because you like him. That's what makes him donkey chalk. Plus, if you go look at Tom Kim, you know, I guess you could pivot down to Fleetwood, pivot down to Connors, pivot down to Hatton, but he's not even twice the ownership of those guys. So I would, I guess if I'm being honest, I'd probably come chalk, right? He is a little too high because there are some decent pivots. You start getting into like Hovland and Cam Young and stuff like that. I'm calling them chalk because they are relatively too high versus the good pivots that are around them. Morikawa is definitely, Morikawa is the 8th highest owned guy I have right now, but like he's not chalky at all. Matter of fact, he's almost what I would call a pivot because his ownership is so low relative to all the guys around him, right? Decky, if you haven't heard, there's some rumors going around that he withdrew from the Pro-Am. I'll just tell you right now, I'll tell you the same thing I told my Discord. I'm just not buying that. Decky, I know he's the king of withdrawals and he's fucking, baby shit soft, but not in Japan, man. He's a fucking rock star over there. He's not going to let down his people. So hopefully it lowers his ownership. Just makes me more interested in playing him, to be honest, right? I love when bullshit narratives like that come out. Tom Hoagie, probably a little too high, but like just kind of chalk. It's not like donkey chalk. Like if you play this guy, like you need to question your life decisions. And because of that, there's just not a lot of guys. The ownership is very spread out. There's a couple guys around 10% that are probably too high. Who is it? Like Wyndham Clark. I'm trying to remember who the other one was. They're too high for what they should be, but they're not disgusting. They're just chalk. A lot of chalk this week. And if I could just say one last thing about ownership, and I've already kind of said this at the start of the video that you really need to understand. In no-cut events, look at me, new guy. This is an important lesson because we play a lot of no-cut events in a season. I think 5 or 6 when you count the WGCs and such. In a no-cut event, chalk gets there way more often than other events, and it's very, very simple. Chalk is chalk. Typically because it is a very good play, right? This person is a good play at this course. This person has good form. This person is underpriced. Those are all things that usually make for chalk, right? And in a no-cut event where they're guaranteed 4 rounds, the larger the sample size, the more often the better plays get there. When you're playing in a normal 156-person tournament where all they got to do is just simply have one bad round and miss the cut, donkey chalk can fuck off a lot more in those tournaments than it does in normal ones, okay, or in a no-cut event. So you got to be aware of that. If you're fading all the chalk this week, just know chalk is going to get there at a much higher percentage this week than it does in normal weeks simply just because of one rule. One rule. They got a larger sample size. And the more holes you play, the more that the better players rise to the top and the worst players fall down, right? And that's why I love Showdown so much, because in 18 holes, anybody can fuck off, and anybody can take off, right? But over 72 holes, I don't think you're going to have Kanaya outperforming Xander Schauffele over 72 holes. But for 18, he might, motherfather. So there you go. There's your warning about fading chalk this week. What you really need to understand is you need to understand the difference between product ownership and cumulative ownership. If you love Xander this week, you go play him. You could even start Xander and Kim, and you'd be like, well, I'm so chalky. I'm already, what is that, 55%. But all you really got to do is go put 4 guys with them that are sub 5%, and you're going to have a super unique, different lineup that you're not going to be playing 2v2s and 1v1s versus hundreds of people, right? So, and if you don't understand product ownership, I don't got time to do it right now. I don't got time to do it. The big guy is keeping this stream a little bit shorter. I've still got a lot of shit to do for my Discord today before the early lock. By the way, I think the lock is at, what time is it? 7:30 my time? 7:30 my time? So 6:30 Slapdick time zone, 7:30 p.m. Lord's time zone. And what would that be? 5:30? Wait. 8:30 out on the East Coast, 7:30 here, 5:30 out west. Who gives a shit about Slapdick time zone? All right. This week on the model, let's look at the model. What were some things that we considered? Well, I really wanted ball striking. I want to see guys who played short, hard courses. The no-cut narrative, I do like. Who plays bent Grasswell and course history. You're like, hey, why aren't you looking at more specific stats? Well, we don't really have specific stats because there's no shot tracer here. So we don't really know what proximities matter. We don't really know where guys are doing their scoring, what holes they're scoring on. So to try to guess on those things would be exactly that. It'd be a guess. So these are basically all kind of periphery stats is what I would call them. They're not like your typical stats that I look at. And because of that, you kind of get a weird mix of people that are a good fit, right? Like Corey Connors is kind of the guy I want. I think he's going to be criminally under-owned this week. Yes, his recent form is not good, but when you zoom out and look at him long-term, he's played this course well. He is a good ball striker, and he plays short, hard course as well. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Give them all to me. Give me all the Corey Connors. So, those are the kind of things that I'm looking at. Tom Hoagie. By the way, I'm not playing Tom Hoagie because of my narrative this week, but I made my Discord a promise I wouldn't give my narrative away. And by the way, it's not like my narrative's like the truth to the universe. It could be fucking wrong. It's my narrative. You play your own narrative, brother. Whatever you decide your narrative is, pick it. Go 100 miles an hour. All right. I'm getting ahead of myself. It seems like if you really want to know, Cam Young up. So Cam Young, Hovland, Tom Kim, M. Morikawa, Decky, Xander. This is all the super popular area, right? If you really want to start to get different, you need to start looking from Fleetwood down through Tigala. These guys in this range, I think, are all not quite the same caliber of players as these guys above them, but you are getting them at an ownership discount and a price discount, and they probably all still have relatively close to the same ceiling. So if you really want to get different in a no-cut event, which honestly should be your goal, right? Your goal is to have a very different lineup than as many people as possible because you don't want to be playing 2v2s versus other people. Really look at this range, right? This Mito Pereira, he's like almost his own guy that you could just like pivot off of him to anybody else. I think you're doing pretty good. I wouldn't get too worried about the Davis Riley withdrawal last week. I actually like that he withdrew last week because it probably meant that he got over to Japan earlier and probably got to know the course better earlier. Really surprised to see Matthew NeSmith isn't carrying more ownership than he is. So Matthew NeSmith is a ball striker. Matthew NeSmith plays short, hard courses pretty well. So if he's not going to be highly owned, you're not worried about him only being over there for 3 days. Well, then get on some Matthew NeSmith. Emiliano Grillo, good ball striker. Just he'll drive you nuts watching him putt and stuff, right? Let's see. Let's get on down here. Does Ricky Fowler actually have a life again? I'm not sure. Oh my God. Patrick Rogers is 6th in the model. Go play Patrick Rogers. He'll never let you down. He'll never let you down. He's the nuts. Patrick Rogers is the nuts, you motherfather. Go play him. Every one of your lineups. 100% Patrick Rogers. Okay. So what I like to do here is I like to use this to kind of go find some sleepers, right? Like who are some guys like that perform well in a couple things that like you wouldn't expect. Okay? Like Cam Champ. Did you know Cam Champ's really good at short, hard courses? Yeah, he is, right? No, he bombs and gouges. Well, maybe he's like Gary Woodland. He's better when he just clubs the fuck down. Ka-ting! Lee Hodges. Lee Hodges really screwed me last week, but man, he's good at short, hard courses. His ball striking's been great. His approach has been great. Sam Ryder kind of checks every box, right? He's got good approach, good ball striking. He plays short, hard courses well, and he specifically played this course that they're at. He's played it well. I do think he will probably be the chalkiest guy down in this range because just doing ownership, here's one rule. People ain't playing Japanese people. This is what they're doing. They're going and they're looking at the names down at the bottom, and they're like, Yudo Katsa not going to play him because I can't say his name. That's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, hey, if I can't say the name, I ain't fucking playing him, Bob. That's just how it's going to be. And so I think that you need to go look at these Japanese guys, right? They're at home. They're probably used to playing on this courses like this, in this climate, in these conditions, and I think that you would be a fool if you're entering a bunch of lineups and you're not at least considering some of these Japanese players. Plus, if you can go find one that you like down here, 62, 63, 6400, it really lets you stack the F out of some guys up top, right? You can probably go get 3 guys from up here pretty easily if you're willing to throw in one of those Japanese punts with them. Which Japanese punt? Well, come check out the sleepers over on the Discord. I made a whole video. So that would be my big advice. If you really want to get different down here, and in a no-cut event, there is a lot of merit to playing these cheap guys. You really just need them to go out and have 2 amazing rounds and then just 2 average rounds, and they're going to be the fucking nuts. And so because of that, I think you should be very open to playing these guys. You just got to find which one is the right one to play. That would be my advice to you, right? And people are just naturally going to click on Brandon Wu, Sam Ryder, CT Pan, Bo Hostler, simply because John Huh. They know those names, right? They know those names. They don't know Tamahiro Utasaki. Okay, they don't know those guys. And so, like, they're not going to click on them. Okay? Maybe they've heard of Rikawa Hoshino. But like they're not that familiar that they're going to click on them, right? And people are just, that's what they do. They click names. They don't put a lot of thought into this. You were sitting here like a sweaty bastard watching this on your lunch hour, trying to get every last morsel of information you can. You're not the normal one, motherfather. For every one of you, there's 10 slappies that just go throw a lineup in there because they have a feeling. I've heard of Troy Merritt. I'll play him. Okay, that's what they do. Adam Schenk is coming in with great form. He's a good one. Hayden Buckley, I think, is probably going to be the most popular guy down here. I'll always fade a chalky Hayden Buckley. But once again, he's not so high that I can call him donkey chalk. That's the problem. That's why I'm not doing donkey chalk this week. Let's see. Anything else I really want to hit on here? Lucas Ebert. People love Lucas Ebert for what the fuck ever reason. Because he's good around the greens and he putts well. Okay. You go play Lucas Ebert. I will play elsewhere. Who's not play Lucas Ebert? All right. I guess I should go ahead and get to my shtick. By the way, toss your questions in there. I'm about to get over to questions. We're keeping this one to 45 minutes or less today. Hey, look at us get up to 76. People are trying to get here for the drawing. Didn't I say I'd do 2 if we got to 100? Oh, we're up to 78. Tell a friend. Okay, let's see. By the way, go drop a like, you new motherfathers. The one guy I am definitely playing this week. See, I got to be careful with this shit because, like, on a day, this swing season stuff, people listen to me more than normal. I'll tell you the one person I'm definitely not playing, Mito Pereira. Get the F out of here. If I'm going to call one guy donkey chalk, I can't play him. Do I like Mito? Yes. Do I think Mito's a very good play? Yes. Do I think you should play him? You play whoever the fuck you want. He makes sense. And if you're going to go play a guy like that, that's okay. You really can. And you could even pair him with Xander. But the problem is, at some point, you're going to need to get really different with 3 or 4% or 3 or 4 of those spots in the rest of your lineup, right? And when I say different, I mean like guys under 5%, because you really need to start to differentiate yourself, or your lineup's just going to be in a bunch of 1v1s and 2v2s versus hundreds and hundreds of people. So last week, I had so many people say, man, I played Tom Kim and Cantlay and M and these guys, and I thought I was doing so good, and I still lost. That's because when you play chalk, even when you get there, you don't get there, right? You got to hit. Now you have to hit the chalk, and then you still have to go hit all the other pieces because everybody else is hitting that chalk. That's why my theory is I just generally fade the chalk, and I just make that a rule all the time. Has it backfired the last 2 weeks? Yeah, it has, Bob, but I don't give a fuck because when it finally does fall through, I will have tremendous leverage, and now I only have to beat a few hundred people, whereas those people that played Tom Kim with Cantlay,